Listen, I have an idea.
It's how I feel when you make lemonade. Whatever today has given you. 511 headaches, still call it Thanksgiving. True.
Welcome to another edition of the Super Duper Podcast. I'm your host, Rob Griggs, here with the super producer, Ez McMahon.
Yes. What's going on, Rob? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
I am doing very well. Glad to be here.
Well, thank you guys for visiting the Super Duper Pod, visiting like y'all in our house. But thank you for
Well,
showing.
They are visiting.
I guess so.
Yeah.
But thank you for checking us out and making sure you were rocking with the Super Duper Pod. We do not take your listens lightly. I know I say that every week, but that's the truth. We appreciate everybody that listens to the show. If you are a regular listener, thank you for coming back. If you are a new listener, thank you for checking us out and getting some new lingo. You'll learn about me and Ez and all the crazy things we talk about every week. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Super Duper Pod, SUPADUPAPOD, and online at HP53productions.com for our merch. Also, additional content such as the Father Good podcast and our own Ez McMahon with the Easy Smoke and GM podcast with the major sports updates, especially Bears. Bulls. What the Bulls gonna do, man? What the Bulls gonna do?
They gonna keep doing what they're doing, man. They played a really good game the other night against Phoenix, and couldn't get right in overtime.
Yeah,
but they're gonna win one here. They're gonna lose two. They're gonna win another. They're gonna lose another. They're gonna win two, lose two. That's going to be the theme for the entire season.
Jeez, well, as Brandy always says, almost doesn't count. So, you almost get there. You got to get there. But make sure you check out the Easy Smoke and GM podcast for more sports updates and hot takes wherever you get your podcast. So, as it's me and you today, man. So, before I get into a couple of thoughts, this happened at work. I was like, I got to tell Ez this and all of our super duper friends. So, at work, I won't say my location because I like my job. I want to keep it. And, people work hybrid. So some people are in the office, some are not. So I'm in the office. I went down to the first floor to get something, came back up. I walk and see there's two bathrooms in the long hallway. I noticed there's waters coming out the women's bathroom. I went, oh, snap. Okay. So I'll go run to the assistant. I guess she saw my face. She's like, oh, I already know. We call maintenance. Cool. I go back, because my desk in our seating area is closest to where the flood is coming. So I'm like, are they going to stop this soon? So as the water's just moving, steady pace. It's about 40 feet, 50 feet, and it's closing in, right? Real fast.
That's a lot of water.
Dude. And so, now people are like, we're all standing looking, trying to see what's going to happen. We're trying to figure out where the cords go. There's one woman that comes over and goes, oh my God, what happens? And she goes into the toilet, into the wash, and we like, hey, wait for facilities to get here. Like, none of us are this. We in advertising and stuff. This is what you gonna do, man? So she goes in there and goes, the water's really coming out. Really? Didn't know. Couldn't tell. All this water that's on the floor. So now it's coming through. It's coming through the carpet. It's insane. Get to our workspaces. We get stuff off the floor. One of my coworkers, he was on the phone, and I guess he was irritated because he was like, I'm trying to talk and it's all this commotion. And we trying to tell him, hey, bro, you're about to get flooded. So I finally said, look at the floor. He was like, oh my God. He jumps up and leaves. Now, the same lady that went into the bathroom, now the water has come down the hall into the workspace. So it's flooding everything, right? She runs out, comes back with a big package of napkins, and then just starts throwing packs of napkins.
What's that going to do?
On the water. And I go, why are you doing that? And she says, every little bit helps. I walked away. I said, this is why they think we stupid. You know what I'm saying? This is why they don't hire us for jobs, because of stupid stuff like this. I was like, what is packs in random packs? Just random napkins, like the square napkins. Just every bit helps. No, you're just making a mess, man. No, Ez. No.
She wanted to help.
Bruh.
She wanted to help.
I could see if it was like near like a hole, you trying to patch or something. It's just random napkins, ma'am.
You know,
We're good.
you got to give her credit for you know.
Hey, listen, I was thinking, hey, I'm Bob Griggs' son. It's like I could figure something out. So we started packing up like there were holes that kind of the some of the wires go through, pack those in. But she literally is just throwing napkins in just big spaces of water.
Did they finally come up and
they finally came up, but for me, they was moving a little too slow motion for my pace.
Yeah.
But they finally got up there. They sent this cleaning lady, and she was like, "No, I don't have this.
I'm not a plumber."
She's like, "I can't do this," and she turned right around. So then
it's not like it was a spill. This is
right. Yeah. She's like, "Nah, fam, y'all got to get them other boys. I'm gonna go up to the other floor." So then the people came in with the shop bags, and they got it up fairly quickly. You know what I'm saying? But by that point, so they sent the email. It's gonna
was it a busted pipe or
it was a busted pipe? So a gasket busted on. They told us fresh water pipe. I was like, you better tell me it's fresh water. You tell me it's toilet water.
Sewage, baby.
They were like, no, it's fresh water. Like, okay, sure it is. Yeah, they said a gasket from the fresh water pipe busted, and then just sent the water out. So I'm like, yeah, because somebody. But the thing is, that's just everybody was standing around looking. I hate that kind of stuff where like. If something happens and everybody's just looking. Everybody's just looking, right? So I train myself to walk away because guess what? We not helping. But especially ain't got no help. You just looking like, oh, that's the water's getting big. Hey, do something or leave. I guess you're right. Or get some napkins and throw it in the abyss of water, man. That blew my mind.
That's effort right there, though, man. Effort.
I guess she don't want to be known for not doing nothing. So, jeez. So one big thing, when I heard about this on the Bill Simmons podcast, you guys know he's my mentor. He don't know it though. And so Bill Simmons was talking to one of his guests, and they brought up the Nike Super Shoe. So have you heard of this, Ez?
I have not.
So apparently, this is a shoe that is in question right now because the woman who ran the marathon, she's a new women's world record holder, and she beat the old time by more than 2 minutes. Ez.
Okay,
2 minutes. Now if you're a runner, like 2 minutes is a long time.
That's a long time.
That's like essentially she was chilling and drinking a juice before anybody came across the line. And they were like, she never been out of who is this lady? She's never been, you never heard of her. It's not like it was Usain Bolt. After you see him, you know what I'm saying, dominating, and he breaks the world record. That would make sense. This woman was out of nowhere. So now of course it was like there's no drug testing. She had no drug in her system. What happened was she's wearing these new Nike Super Shoes, right? Okay. And so even the latest men's record holder, he took 34 seconds off of his predecessor's time. And so like they're saying it's not the athletes, it's these shoes. And so these shoes are being considered like performance enhancing drugs almost.
So what's in them?
Okay, so it's a Nike. So Super Shoes is a category that Nike introduced in 2016. This is from the Washington Post. Utilize a lightweight, bouncy midsole and a rigid carbon fiber plate to create an energy-saving spring-like effect that makes runners speedier. But rather than critique the new shoes, athletes and sports fans should celebrate them because this article is kind of giving a positive spin on the shoes. Because some folks, of course, are saying, "Hey, this is an added benefit because the shoes are about $500 a pair." I thought they'll be more expensive if they're going to be knocking your time off by 2 minutes and 30 seconds, but they're $500 shoes. And so, we've heard about this before, like in most competitive sports, like racing sports, like, running, biking, a lot of times, even swimming, like a lot of times the gear helps. There was one year in the Olympics, I don't know if you remember, it was like people were wearing these certain suits that made them go through the water a lot faster.
It made them more buoyant.
Yeah. And it was like, is that a competitive advantage? Is that fair? We've been training and all you do is have a suit on. Right. So, but yeah, they've been talking about these shoes and just like, again, even in running, things about aerodynamic. I mean, you look at Jesse Owens, he was just wearing a regular tank top and some shorts. Now they got their clothes painted on, right? Because you don't want to have anything get in the way. I guess as they think every little bit can get in the way of your maximum speed, man. Yeah.
So Spike was right. It's got to be the shoe.
My thing is Okay, so here's the go. So was it, just read this one part of the article. Was it just the shoes that accounted for those gains? Probably not. Improved nutrition and training techniques undoubtedly contributed, but in the 1980s, Nike in-house research demonstrated that even minor reductions in shoe weight could boost athletic performance and speed. So naturally, when marathon performance gains are examined, the shoes get outsized attention from fans, athletes, and developers. I will say, when I ran track in high school, shout out to St. Ignatius, in the 1 year I ran track, when I was running in just my regular shoes, I was like, all right, I'm getting down. But when I put on them cleats, it was like, oh, I'm fast. You know what I'm saying? It's just like night and day. And you don't think about it if you don't switch your shoes. So I mean, I don't. So what do you think, Ed? You think it's should be considered like a performance enhancing drug, like a negative thing?
I think they have to do testing on it.
Yeah.
You have to see if if they run a certain time with them on and then with them off, see what their time is in the same thing, in the same event. I don't know. Shoes never did much for me. In terms of doing better.
Yeah.
In a certain event. So I find it hard to believe, but if the stats back it up, then yeah, it's probably an enhancement if it says that, and it shouldn't be allowed.
But so, because here's the thing too, right?
Because then you're talking equipment is becoming, the reason that you're getting these times, and that's not right.
But this is we'll use somebody we don't know. Say if somebody else that is out of shape but throws super shoes, they not running in, a 2 minute less marathon. You know what I'm saying? That's my thing. I hear what you're saying.
But if you're saying,
I feel like if all things are considered,
you said they shave like 34 seconds off. One person shaved 30. That's significant time.
Yeah. But
that's an issue.
But now here's the thing though. Is it just what if I'm just a runner? I'm sponsored by Nike. This is how we get down. Just because we test and train, right? This is what we do. We're not doing anything illegal. We have to wear shoes. We just happen to make better shoes. But I think also I've always thought about this, like the steroid era in baseball. Like the reason people were taking it was because, and let's think about, allegedly Barry Bonds, he's still on the record of saying not using it. But the idea was, hey, I'm balling. I'm killing everybody, right? I'm doing it naturally. I'm putting up good stats, but everybody else in the league is doing steroids. So I'm actually behind. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and not to say I agree with that thought or premise, but that's kind of what I think in this case with the running, people might get to a point where, listen, everybody's wearing these super shoes. I'm training, I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm still getting beat by a person who maybe I'm physically better than. Like to your point, if we did this in regular shoes, I would dust you. But because you have these super shoes, you win and beat me, then I have to get these super shoes as well.
It needs to be. I mean, NASCAR. Everyone has to have the exact same, not necessarily the setup, but the exact same equipment. The stock cars, right? It should be the same. You can't have a boosted part on your car, and it should be the same as with athletes.
I hear you, but what about what if I figure something out? See, I feel like say with NFL and NBA, the things that are the same are what the space that you play in, and the dimensions of the field or the court, the height of the goal, right? But on that, if you can be innovative, maybe it's different because, again, I think I see what you're saying now. Like with the equipment becomes an issue.
Yeah.
But I feel like though the equipment is so different than the cars or people.
Everyone can't be sponsored by Nike.
But then okay, if I'm sponsored by Adidas, it's like Adidas. What y'all gonna do? Just gonna have me out here losing these races? You know what I'm saying?
What if they don't have they can't figure out the technology to do that?
Then they should be out of business. And guess what? I'm going to Nike. You see what I'm saying? I see the point you're making. Like there has to be some level of like continuity is the wrong word, but it's some uniformity across the board. So it's really the talent of the people playing. That's what makes a difference. That's what makes me win, not the equipment. But I feel like in some cases, the equipment should help you win as well. That's what you got it for, right? What's the point of us all using old bats? I'm giving me a new one, you know what I'm saying? And now I'm hitting homers for real. So all you guys got to get you a new bat, right? That's anything we do. Like these athletes, like I mean, even if you look at a simple place like with the NBA, where players were coming, I think Michael Jordan was one of the first, well, not one of them, but he was like coming in camp in shape. Like remember before people were playing themselves into shape during training camp. Now people are training all year round, right? They ready. Steph is ready to play. He said it. He can be ready for the NBA within 2 weeks. You know, in the offseason. That's how much he trains himself. So I'm saying, I think I don't necessarily see anything wrong with the shoes if they're available to everybody.
You're talking about two different things, though.
Okay.
There's one thing in training and getting better physically, and then there's putting on a super shoe that's gonna boost your time even more. That ain't right, man.
But that's still, if I'm training, that's what I'm saying. All I'm saying is, okay,
training is fine. I'm all for, do as much training as possible to get yourself better. I'm all for that. But you can't add a piece of equipment that's gonna boost you even more. That's not right.
So if you're a tennis player, right? We play tennis, right?
Okay.
And then Nike's like, hey, we got this new racket. We think it's going to do great wonders. And you start tearing me up. You start winning, right? A lot with the racket. so, is that you'll be like, hey, he has a new special racket. You just like, oh, okay, I got to get one too.
Yeah, they have equipment regulations that stop that. Baseball players can't use a corked bat.
Now, but that's deemed illegal. This is deemed illegal. These shoes.
Maybe it should be, though.
But all shoes have some type of technology in them to make you run faster or better. Nike just happened to figure out
a boost on it that burns 34 seconds off.
It's not nitro boost. It's literally a mechanical thing. It's not like you hit a button. It is
Bugs like this thing. Yes.
What?
It totally is.
So back to the article. The new records unnerve longtime members of the running community, especially former elite competitors. A retired British Olympian, Tim Hutchins, recently told The Telegraph that super shoes have turned world records into a devalued currency, as agrees. But have they? As impressive as the super shoe era of record-breaking has been, speeds appear to be plateauing around the 2-hour mark for marathons. Like, I feel like the shoe is not going to make somebody run an 8-second 100-meter dash. Like, that's going to happen anyway. Because I mean, the world record used to be 10 seconds. You see what I'm saying? Now it's like less than 9 something.
It's 9, yeah. It's in the 9s, yeah.
Right. So I mean, at some point, they're gonna have to get rid of it, because when we're 50 ain't far away. So when we're 70, it might be like, man, this dude ran 8.5 seconds. He had on super shoes.
Next thing you know, they're gonna add afterburners to them and
stop it. See, that's just
flames coming out of the shoes.
Now you're just being ridiculous.
Come on now.
So now, of course, a company could introduce a new generation of super shoe that provides an even greater assist. Nike and Adidas are competing fiercely to build one. That's what I'm saying. I feel like, okay, here we go. But that competition is constrained by rules limiting what design elements can be entered into competition associated with World Athletics, the global governing entity overseeing marathons. So restrictions include a shoe with the sole exceeding 40 millimeters is considered a prototype, and no athlete aspiring to win a marathon will wear one. If and when they do, elite athletes aren't the only ones who will benefit. Oh, that's something different. So, I mean, but again, it's like runners who cover the world record-setting shoe model can acquire one for less than $300. Hey, man, I feel like if this is your job, you know what I'm saying? Like the Currys that Steph Curry wear in the game ain't the ones we buy. You know what I'm saying? Jordan don't wear the Jordans that we wear.
He doesn't?
You don't think he got a special, like, something in his shoe?
No, I don't think so. I think it's probably form fit, yes.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's nothing in the shoe that's gonna make him, do unbelievable things. Like back to the commercial what Spike said. No, it's not the shoes. It's the shoes. No, it's no Mars. No.
So, but my thing is, so that as a regular joke, because yesterday, what day was that? It was Wednesday. I missed the train by like 30 seconds. I was thinking, all I need was some super shoes. I'd have caught it. You know what I'm saying? So I wonder for the regular Joe, if you got some super shoes on. See, I think that's where we disagree is, because I think your thought is it's an unfair advantage. My thing is it only I sound like I'm pro steroids. It sounds like it only augments what you are already doing, right? Because again, as I was saying, even though I'm saying it flippantly, like that's like to say, because I put super shoes on, I can now catch this train that I missed by 30 seconds. You see what I'm saying? And that I think, in addition to all the other things you are doing,
and if you
these
take
super
them off,
shoes are also
those 30 seconds are going to be added back on, right?
Well, maybe I got to get my weight up. Maybe I have to train or just get up earlier and get on the train. But maybe I have to train faster, stronger. You never know, man.
2-3 seconds. Okay. It's a more comfortable shoe. I buy that. 34 seconds? Come on, man. Something's wrong.
And the woman beat the world record by like 2 minutes. That is wild. That part's like, hey, y'all.
You know, a couple seconds here or there. Okay, I buy it. Yeah, it's comfortable. I get it. Not that much. That becomes a problem.
Hey, Nike went to the women's world record holder, was like, hey, listen. We told you, keep it down to 30.
That's the reason, the whole steroids thing in baseball, the reason it became such an issue was because in 60 years, 70, maybe 80 years of baseball, only 2 players had ever hit 60 home runs.
Then all of a sudden, everybody was hitting 60.
And then a guy on the north side somehow hit 60 in 3 different seasons. Come on, man.
And his head got bigger. Yeah. But they mentioned it in the article, and as that one British runner was saying, it's like, how does this affect records, right? Because, so like even with like the NBA now, and they talk about just scoring and whatnot, and it's like, well, people shoot more threes than they did before. Like, or some seasons they didn't have a 3, so of course that affects records. I mean, even in the NFL with certain rules protecting the quarterback and offenses that are like hampering defenses, is a passing league now. So somebody like Kirk Cousins gonna be thought of as better than Dan Marino, and that's not
right.
Gonna be possible.
But the rules were changed to make that work, and we know. It was a different game, in the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s than it is today. So we get that. They're not changing the rules in for these shoes, right? To allow these shoes, super shoes. Just the word. Come on, man.
Super shoes. Hey, man, those are crazy. I'm gonna give you some.
I would love to test it out, man.
Hey, I mean, because if it's like, that's a good test. You said, like you run down the block with your regular shoes on, on these super shoes on, like run the street. Like, whoa,
maybe
crazy.
I can finally get my sub 540.
Doggone it. That got to be crazy. About $500, man. So y'all want look stuff for Christmas. That'll be your only Christmas gift for a couple of years.
I'm looking at these shoes. They do look very. I mean, the soles on these things look very pillowy, man. Very. It looks comfortable.
Pillowy. Yeah. They look amazing. Hey, I'm telling you, man, when I read, I was like, I'm in. You know what I'm saying? Let's do this. But that's if you really run a marathon. So shout out to my man Alex. Alex ran marathons.
Alex ran. Shout out to Alex. Alex ran. I think he was timed in one marathon at 2 hours and 58 minutes.
Dog, I saw him. I hope he's listening. I remember one time when I lived over east, I think he was training for a marathon. I'm driving and I see Alex running like Bane was after him. The Joker was chasing him. He was running so fast, and I'm turning around like, is he okay? But then I realized he was training for the race. But yes, he is a guy. Should get it. I'm gonna call him, see what he thinks about these super shoes, man. Because he might agree. He might agree. Like it's not gonna make that much of a difference. And as a runner that running in 2 hours, 2 hours something marathon, he might like the fact that this little edge can get him closer to a time that's like something he never thought he could achieve. I think it's something to it now.
Hey.
All right. Well, so another thing is we're gonna get out of here. So we were we'll talk a lot about work today, but we had this one meeting with the larger team. And a lot of times at work, we'll do like this discussion just about, random stuff, get people like icebreaker of sorts, have people answering questions. You know how that goes, right? Tell us your favorite holiday. And everybody goes around and they say that kind of stuff. But one woman asked a question about what did you want to be when you were growing up, and why did it change? Like, so essentially, if you wanted to be an astronaut and you now work at the bank, like what made you switch? Okay.
Right.
So a lot of people, as we were going through it, a lot of people were like, yeah, I wanted to be a dancer, but my parents told me I would never make enough money. I was like, damn, that's rough, And then, but that was kind of the common thing about people who changed their careers. They were like, excuse me, my parents said I wasn't gonna make no money or I couldn't do it. I was like, that's harsh. I don't think my parents ever said not to do nothing. It was just like, just make some money. You know what I'm saying? Do whatever you got to do. They didn't kill my dreams. You know what I'm saying? When I saw this article about like why that question in general, what do you want to be when you grow up, is not a good question. So this is from nwtutoring.com, posted in December 2021, so a couple years old. So it says 7 problems with what do you want to be when you grow up. It's such an innocent question. You might even say it's aspirational, but what could be wrong with this question says a lot. So number one, you're not supposed to know. And I thought about that. Like, we ask kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? And it's like, they don't even have an idea of all the jobs that are in existence, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you just don't know. And that, but I will say, I don't think it's a bad question to ask a kid because it gets them thinking about when you are an adult. What do you want to be? But I think it should be probably reframed of like, instead of what do you want to be and grow up, more like, what do you like to do now? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you really enjoy? Because I think, if we're being honest, I think you're probably one of the few people I know who, let me just say this, I enjoy my job just in case my boss listens. But you one of the people so I like my job. But you're one of the people I know that like, this is a true passion of yours. Like, you essentially do this on the side as well, right? What you're doing. You love sports and you get what you do. But most people aren't really doing a job that is like that stuff that they do for free. They do on the side. They just, making beats in the basement just because they want to, right? Most people aren't doing that. And a lot of times it's because we don't even know these kind of things exist until we get out in the world. Like, shout out to my mentor, Kennard. That's something I appreciate about him. He just put me on to a lot of different just careers that are open to people. I mean, I've had jobs. It's like people like, that's what you do for work. Like, yeah, that's what I do for work, man. It's crazy, right? And I meet people like, this is your job? Yes, this is and they pay me a lot of money to do X, Y, Z. So I think, instead of, it's like, what do you like to do now? And then helping them point to, well, if you like these things, this is a career you can have when you get older. Because I think it's good to not necessarily plan for to get planted in. I'm going to be a doctor. I said when I was 9, and then it's like you want to really just make super shoes and run marathons. So number 2, it says, you don't have to wait. That's kind of getting what we're talking about. Like, if you already know, why wait till you grow up? But if you want to, like my son Chase, I mentioned this to you, as he said to me, he plays a piano in the basement. He finds an app, teaches himself how to play songs. It's pretty wild. Plays a trumpet. He makes those songs up. He said, Dad, one day I want to make money making music. And it's like, he's 11 and in his head, he said, I want to make money making music, Dad. And I thought that was great. And so for me, it was like, well, kind of like I said, you don't have to wait. All right, let's do this now, son. Let's get these. He was on purchase punishment, meaning he left his hat at school, coat at school, books at school, book bag. I said, guess what, dude? I'm not buying nothing for 2 months. So after the 2 months is up, I'm gonna buy him a beat machine.
Purchase punishment, man.
Purchase punishment.
That's rough, man.
Hey, man. Hey. Got to teach you the value, dog.
Jeez.
Hey, listen. Hey, man. You didn't buy the stuff, you lose. Like, oh, I left another coat, Dad. Need another one. No. I'm not Silver Spoon over here, man. So, gee, what think this is? I'm not Philip Drummond.
I never heard of that.
You know what I'm saying?
Purchase punishment.
Purchase punishment. Yeah, man. And buy you nothing. Hey, I'm over here innovating, is no, but yeah, but when he said that, it's like, okay, then all right, let's do it now. Buy you the beat machine, buy you the video camera, right? So you can make the beats, post them, and get known because you see most people who are successful, they've been doing it for like a lot. We talk about sports a lot, right? Like athletes, a lot of these people have been doing these sports for a very, very long time, right? And so it's like when they get to age, they are essentially an expert at it because they've been doing this, reading it, living it for a long time. So you don't have to wait for that. So the next point is you'll never be grown up, right? And so, that is true. Cause I gotta say, man, I'm 44. I still forget I'm 44. I'm only reminded when I gotta do like adult things. I gotta answer the question for the kids like, oh crap, that is my responsibility. If something happened with the house, like, oh yes, I'm the adult in the room. Sorry guys, I forgot for a second. And it's just kind of like you never, because as the article's kind of leaning into, when's the time to go, okay, today is the day I'm grown up, right? It's like it just kind of happens. Number 4, you're never going to be a finished product. So it's like, just because you say I want to be an astronaut, you're an astronaut, that's not the end of your life. That's not the end of who you are. One of I'm probably get to another point, because number 5 is you won't just get to be one thing. Shout out to my dean from Williams, and because she said to me when we were in college, and it was really impactful. She was like, Robert, you're going to probably have 3 or 4 careers in your life. Because that was the first time I had heard somebody say that. Because before it was like, you're going to be this one thing forever, right? You're going to be a lawyer. You're going to be a doctor. You're going to be whatever forever. Like that's how it was kind of pitched to us when we were like in high school, college, right? And she said, she's like, no, you're going to have like 5 different careers. And she has been right? I've been an entrepreneur, been working in an agency, done advertising, worked in government, what I'm saying? I've had various careers. And I think, I think that's what that gave me the courage to do. Was if I had to pivot, it wasn't like something was wrong, right? It's like, well, I mean, it happens because as in life, you sometimes have to have to pivot. What I'm saying? The company closes, or it's just it was cool. You did it. Now you want to try something else. You know what I mean? The number 6 is you're not your job. I think this is something I had to learn the hard way. It's like when I worked for Vibe magazine, and that was the greatest job in the world, and I was able to do really cool stuff, take pictures with Kelly Rowland, hang out with T.I., flying to New York. As I got to a party because I had my business card. You understand me? I was in New York City. And you can tell how old this is. It's 2004 or 5, because Zab Judah and Scott Storch was in there, and that was hot.
Zab Judah.
That's how long ago this was. And I went to the front with my friends who were in New York, and they were like, "Rob, they're gonna kick us out." I said, "Look, hey, I'm gonna show them." I showed them my business card. Is boom, and they let us in. You see what I'm saying? I thought I was Vibe magazine at the time. I left there, went to another company, and another company got laid off. And I remember vividly, the hardest thing was just like, well, what am I if I'm no longer this sales guy, right? Who can get into places and make these moves, and because at that point, everybody was calling me and coming to this event. Can't make this happen. When I lost my job, it was like, hey, Ez, I mean, hey, you free for lunch? You know what I'm saying? It didn't happen the same. So right. I think, so this whole thought of, when you want to be when you grow up, it's like, well, if you get there and be there, that's still not who you are. There's still personal things. And, I think the older we get, you start to realize that, like, the job will leave you when it has to. The job will, my mother says often, she's like, get your rest, because if you die, they're gonna be sad for a day, and then put your job online and have somebody in there for cheaper. So like, get your rest. And so you are not the job, because if you lose it, if it doesn't happen, you are still a person. I think a lot with kids, we should really, and people, and not just kids, elementary school kids, high school kids, who are you as a person? That's what matters, because you can learn anything, you can be anything, but the person you are, that's what's really going to carry you through. The last one is you won't be satisfied with just one thing. And that's real. I mean, we got our day jobs, we do these pods, you know what I'm saying? it's a lot of things you like, and I'm the king of being busy of all kind of stuff. And that is true. I think just saying what do you want to be. Now, I will say, I think it's not a horrible thought, right? I think the exercise of asking a child what you want to be when you grow up is actually a very positive one and a good one. But I do agree with the article. I think there's a way of framing it that puts them in a place of just being thoughtful about their future. Like everything isn't about right now. And I think it should encourage children and anybody just to think about the future, just to plan for. Because a lot of times, as unfortunately, we just be in here existing, right? I wake up, I go to work, I do this, I might plan a trip, right? But how often are we saying, yo, what I'm gonna do in 5 years, right? What am I gonna do in 3? We only do that when something like forces us to, like you lost a job or you got a kid or something that makes you go back, or you lose some money. You're like, I gotta do something different. So I think even as adults, this isn't just for kids. We should always be in the mind of what do you want, how do I want to look in 3 years, and not, and to the article's point, not limit yourself to one thing or one type of thing or pigeon. It's just but asking the exercise of what do I want to happen? How do I want my family to be? How do I want, if you have children, how my children to be? Or what kind of profession do I want to be in? My personal health. Like what I want to be in 3 years, right? Because would you agree, as I think most of us are just like, we just day by day. You know what I'm saying? We
Yeah,
just,
absolutely. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then you look back and you be like, what happened to the last 5 years? You should
Yeah.
know. We should know what happened in the last 5 years, but far too often we look back and it's like, that flew by, and we just doing the same thing. I remember, forget this. I forgot if I saw it on Facebook on like a YouTube video, but the person was like, you shouldn't do the same thing for your birthday every year. It was low key. They were just trying to flex because they were like, we in Dubai, y'all still like the brunch. But I think the sentiment is, if you're just doing the same thing, that doesn't mean like traditions with your family, stuff like that. Like stuff that means that, but it's like you just doing stuff because it's easy. It doesn't challenge you. It's like, oh, well, we ain't gotta think about it. Like when we do our family night, it's even though it's every Wednesday, it has evolved over the years, right? It used to just kind of be a bunch of adults. Then it was one kid. Then it was these 3 little babies. Now it's a bunch of little kids. You know what I'm saying? We've had to change it. Sometimes we go to the fireworks. We talked about going skating, or we'll do something different. It's like you can't just be doing the same thing every year. So how often are we looking into the future and thinking about what do I want to be? Your relationships, what should this be in a year, in 3 years, right? Even if you're married, you can still ask that question. What do we want to be in 2 years? You know what I'm saying? Like we want to travel more. We want to, talk more. Like we have to be proactive in our own lives. And I think we just get to a point where we start running on automatic. And I don't want that for us. I think life is to be lived, and I want y'all to live it straight up and down, straight up and down. So that's our thought of the day. Go ahead.
Does that include golf?
Yeah, I mean, well, see, I keep saying I'm gonna get better.
No, I'm just saying. Every
Yeah.
birthday I like to go play golf.
But I mean, but Ez, that's fun. I feel like though for you and golf, you're trying to be better every year. You probably go, you go same course every year.
Yeah.
No, well, okay. Thanks. Just undid my whole speech.
No, man.
No.
You're making me think. Maybe I need to, instead of going to Jackson Park, maybe I go to Marquette Park.
Why not? Right. I mean, up the street, but sure. Why not? Small steps.
No, I'm just
small
messing
steps.
around. Just messing around.
No, but real talk. But let's use that example, right? It's like, okay, you golf, and again, nothing's wrong with tradition, but like, how often are we pushing ourselves? I always remind myself, I go to new places and spaces because I never know what's on the other side of the fence. I might go in there. It's like, oh, I'm meeting a whole new crew of people that I never would have met. You know what I'm saying? If I didn't just do something different. And I know it's scary, but I think that's why, when we have our children, we have to encourage them to be comfortable with new horizons often and doing things often. My kids, they hate going to new stuff. It's like, well, yeah, they're gonna go the same thing, and they get there, they love it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, and even like with skating, you guys heard me talk about taking them skating. That was our big thing in 22, I think. And it was just more like they did not want to go. I got 3 chipmunks. I don't want to go skating rink as 3 kids on my back, on my back. by the end of the year, everybody's zipping around. By that birthday party, I was skating by myself. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how that's how it applies to all life. So, what do you want to be when you grow up? We still got time because we're still growing up. And I think though the main thing is, even as adults, we can always think about what do we want to be in the years to come. And as we talked about in the article, it doesn't have to be a pigeonhole thing. It can just be just truly answering that question. What do you want to be? And that doesn't mean what you do for money, but what's the life you want to live and to lead. So guys, thank you for checking out the Super Duper podcast. Did I miss anything?
No, I think covered it all.
My man. So happy Veterans Day to all of the veterans out there. Shout out to my cousin Yolanda. She served for a bit. So all of you vets. So again, just don't forget, y'all. Like people get screwed up. Veterans Day are for the people who are alive. Memorial Day for the people who have died. Okay, guys. So just there you go. Just putting it out there, man. But happy Veterans Day to our veterans. Thank you for your service. You're gonna see a lot of that over the weekend, as you should. So if you see a veteran, make sure you give him or her their flowers. And also one last thing, man. The show Archer, we talked about that time to time on the show. It was last season, was this year. So if you've never seen Archer, go to Hulu, download it all. You will be happy you did so. It is the most crazy, raunchy. It's wild. So if you ain't ready for that, don't watch it. But if you kind of like a weird joke from time to time, because they get weird, that's Archer's your kind of show. So make sure you follow us on Instagram, Super Duper Pod, SUPADUPAPOD, on online at HP53productions.com. Ez, I got it right. I said you already. We good? I'm good to go.
Yeah, we're good. I was just gonna say something about Archer. I was in on Archer for a good 8-9 seasons.
Oh yeah,
I fell off, so I gotta catch up.
So I had to go back to season, like the end of season 12, because there's so many episodes, and it's like they all kind of run together at a certain point. So I had to go back to season 12, and I'm gonna try to catch up through the end. So apparently they have like a 3-part like finale in December that's going to run. So maybe we'll check that out and give y'all our reviews. But Archer, again, guys, it's I almost said adult entertainment, but I want you to think we have y'all watching porn. That's not.
No, that's not what it is.
That's not what it is. It is a what animation. There we go. Adult animation.
Yeah.
It ain't for kids.
It's raunchy though.
It ain't for kids. Trust me. I mean, well, they might even get most of the jokes anyway. It's just like, did they really? I never forget watching Archer, be thinking like, they really said that on a cartoon. This is wild. This is wild. They are wild. And I mean, I don't know why. And Lana, I know she's a cartoon, but she fine. I don't know what it is. I just put it out there.
It's the Alicia Tyler voice is what it is.
She kills it, man.
Yeah,
and the dude who's Archer, if you ever see his he's like looks nothing like an Archer at all.
Wait,
he's like,
who is Archer? I don't know who Archer is.
It's H. John Benjamin, I think that's his name. But it was like a show called Bob's Burgers. And
I know Bob's Burgers. Yeah,
he was the voice on there too. So it's wild. Definitely wild. So make sure you check out Archer wherever you can. And again, thank you for listening to us here on the pod today. Don't take your listens lightly. Make sure you take care of yourselves and each other. Hey, mama, this is the Super Duper Podcast.
We make lemonade out of pain. That's champagne, real pain, champagne from you and I. Wait, you and I? Now that's champagne. If you was I, would you be off on this campaign? Is it suicide? If you know that bringing hope is how careers die. Or do the K stand for kamikaze? The J silent is everywhere, you can feel them probably. Surely, lately, I've been up late with demons in my basement trying to get me to hate this. Life thinking I should be further and then I choke up. As soon as I got silent, then the truth spoke up. This said, how you know you ain't perfect? Let that soak up and soak in. You know how you know that you blessed? I woke up.